Hi, I'm Todd Alpeter with Vantage Group. The following is a demonstration on the quoting elements of the Vantage Group Punchout catalog. If you haven't had previous experience with our Punchout catalog, I recommend that you watch the general demonstration covering the more basic elements of the catalog, as this one will assume you're already familiar with the basic catalog features. Quoting is a very specific function that is not enabled for all catalogs by default, but if it is enabled for your catalog, you will see at the top, the menu bar has the item quotes at the top, as well as you'll see some other differences throughout the catalog. By clicking on the quotes menu item up at the top here, this brings up a listing of the quotes that have already been created for you or that you've already created in the system. You can look them up by particular quote number, you can look them up by status, or you can show all here. This is where you would come when you're actually going to manage a quote, but to create a new quote, you're going to use actually some of the elements that you've already seen before. We're going to go back to the part search page here, and you will add items to your cart the way that you usually would, by looking them up by part number, by description, by UPC code. Once you find the items, you add them to the cart as you had done, and that's where the quoting will begin. Now I've already gone ahead and added 2 items to the cart here, so I'm going to jump straight to the cart. Once we go into the cart, you'll see that there are some new things available to you that are not available if you don't have quoting enabled. Obviously, again, up at the top, you will see that you have your quotes menu item up there, but you also have this section down in the lower right hand corner that is called quotes, and you can see that there's a create a new quote button or add to an existing quote. One of the other items that you're going to see that is new to the cart is the manual item add button, which you would use for entering a manual item to the quote or a write-in type item. So let's stop here and we'll take a quick look at our quote that we've got created right now. The first item that I have up there is a Bussmann fuse that I asked for a quantity of 3 of. That was able to be priced through the catalog, so it did give me a price and populate it. The second item I've added is a Square D item here. It's a Square D QO120. This item is coming back with a description of call local branch, telling us that we need to get local pricing on this, and hence we'll need to create a quote. Now let's go ahead and use our new feature, which is the manual item add. And when I click on that, it opens up a manual item add screen. I'm going to go ahead and click other manufacturer here because for the sake of example, I'm going to go ahead and order a golf club. So what I've asked for here is a Big Bertha driver. Those of you who are golfers may recognize that. I'm going to say that I want a 7 degree and I want 1 of those. Now obviously I'm being a little ridiculous here, but just to show you that you can legitimately add anything to your order for us to give you a quote on. Once you've added all the items that you're comfortable with and you're ready to get a quote, you can choose from your features here to either mark the unpriced items to get a quote for, or you can mark all. In the case of this one, I'm going to go ahead and mark all of the items for quote because I want to keep this all together as one package. And now that I've checked mark all, I'm going to go ahead and create a new quote. After clicking the create a new quote button, the items are moved from my cart into the quote here. You can see that the quote number is 1037. The status is currently initial. It shows the date that it was submitted, the date it was quoted, the expiration date. Those dates will fill in as we move farther through the process. And you can see that our items are on here. You will have the option again to edit an item to increase the quantity or delete an item if you decided that you didn't want that item to be on there. You can also edit your header information here and put some specific comments in here that you want passed on to the distributor. I click update and submit quote. My quote is now in the to be quoted status. You can now see that the date submitted has been updated, and as it moves farther through the process, the remainder of these dates will fill in. On the quotes page here, you can see that our new quote 1037 has been added and it is now sitting in the to be quoted status. From this point, your local distributor is going to be sent a notification that a quote is out there waiting for them. They'll get it, respond to the quote, and then an email will be sent to you letting you know that your quote has been responded to and you should log back into the site to review it. We'll look in the details of that in just a second. You'll receive notification via email from Vantage Group when a quote has been revised and is ready for your review. Once you receive that, you can go ahead and use the usual methods that you would to punch out to the Vantage Group catalog, and then once you do that, you'll click on the Quotes menu item at the top of the screen. From here, you can go ahead and see all the quotes that are currently sitting out there awaiting your review or that have been requested in the past. In this case, 1037 is the one that we've been currently working on, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. This opens up our quote window, very similar to the window that you've seen previously when you were creating the quote. The only with a few minor differences. Number one, obviously, because the quote is now complete, it is no longer editable. There is some information up here at the top. For instance, the customer comments, the comments that you put in on the original quote, as well as some comments back from the distributor if they've passed any on. You can see some dates, such as the date submitted, the date quoted, as well as the expiration date. The expiration date is important to the quote because you can only add this quote to the cart up until the expiration date. At that point in time, you will no longer be able to. However, you can add this quote to the cart multiple times. So if you wanted to order the same quote 3 or 4 times, you could do that up until the expiration date occurs. You can see by looking at the line items of this quote that the first 2 items are quoted as requested and prices are now filled in for both of those items. The third item is highlighted in blue. The reason for this highlighting is that this item has been substituted. Our local salesperson has determined that there is a better product or a more suitable product for him to provide you. And in this case, this was our golf club. If we click on the View Details button over here in the substituted column, we can see that originally we had requested a Big Bertha golf club here. And in the case of this example, they've given you a TaylorMade golf club in its place, as well as there's some comments that they gave you as to why they made that substitution. Another difference between our original quote and what's been responded to here is there is now a 4th item on this quote. The local salesperson has also determined that in order for that golf club, there's also 12 golf balls that are required to go along with it. So they've gone ahead and added those 12 golf balls to our cart. At this point in time, you can go ahead and take this quote, and if you accept it, you can go ahead and add it to the cart simply by clicking the Add Quote to Cart button. Once the items are added to the cart, you can go ahead and perform all the usual tasks that you usually would do with the items in the cart. You can edit them, increasing or decreasing the quantities. You could add or delete additional items by simply clicking on the part search. You can go back and search for new parts to go ahead and add to this order. You can actually go back to the quotes menu and select another quote and add all of those items to the cart and order 2 or 3 quotes together as one order should you choose to do that. At this point in time, we're going to go ahead and just click the checkout button. It confirms the items that you are requesting and going to order, and as soon as you hit the confirm button, those items will be passed back to your local system for ordering. Thanks for taking some time to watch this presentation on the Vantage Punchout catalog. Have a great day.